skipping
I
it.
don't even know what that means. Skip it.
Either.
You
It's fine.
you are live. Hey everybody, Zach Martin here with Alicia, the co-host with me on Noncustodial's Live. Welcome, Alicia. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Besides
Wow.
all the technical difficulties we have been having, I am just fabulous.
I think I am also wonderful, and I feel like the technical difficulties are just part of the experience, and we're going to get better at this, and it is going to continue to keep getting better and better as we go forward, even despite serious difficulties.
All the
We have
problems,
this
all the
Rodecaster Pro 2.
problems.
I can't wait for you to get this thing mastered because Alicia is the technical genius of the crew. So
I
um,
think I think I'm just having adapter problems. That's
I
the
think
problem. It's adapter
I think
problems.
adapting to things in life is always a problem. It seems like so. But you're doing a really good
Adapter,
job.
not adapting. I just have an
I think you're
adapter
doing.
problem.
I think you're doing a great job, and I know that uh, this is going to work out with that Rodecaster Pro 2. And when it does, we are going to be exponentially better at this live broadcasting than we were without it. So um, she has a new microphone. It's going to have a microphone. We're going to have buttons with sounds. We're going to play music on the background and have intros. It's really going to shape out really well. And I got to hang out with Alicia and her family and my son. The boys got to hang out together. Was it Monday? Sunday?
Yeah, it was
Sunday?
Monday.
Monday? Sunday? Monday? Oh my gosh. Wasn't that fun?
That was fun. Oh, what I want to do.
What do you think the RB staff think about us?
Oh, they were probably like, take these children and get the hell out.
They were, you guys came in here French fries and milkshakes, and then your kids are running around like this is the freaking zoo.
They were pretty good. They were
They
pretty
were
good.
totally
They
good.
weren't that bad. They
I
weren't
think
that
the one
bad.
moment where they all went through over the chairs, through
Booth thing.
the booth thing, and jumped off of it onto the other side. That was the only moment that I was like, "Wow, our kids are hoodlums."
Naughty.
So
They're being very naughty.
they were being very. My son was the oldest, and he was leading by example, and I felt like that was something he should be proud of, except for the example he was leading, not the greatest. So
Here, watch. Hold on. Or wait. Oh, darn. Which, okay, hold on. I'll show you something. Keep
what do you got?
talking. Go
But
ahead. I got a
it
picture.
was the first time I got to meet. It was the first time I got to meet your husband, and
Yes.
you know, you and I have been friends
In the
and
flesh, you
working
guys.
on. Yeah, we've been working on some bills in the past, and we've worked on this program, and we've worked on other things with shared parenting, and we've had a lot of discussions about shared parenting. You and I over the years, lots of interactions and time together, and
Yeah.
then getting to have that weekend, at least a couple hours with
I wonder
45
if you
minutes
can
with your
make this
husband
work. Look.
was really fantastic. I see.
Oh,
Oh gosh,
let's see. Oh, there. Okay. Look. Okay, look. There's everybody.
that
Oh, you're blocked
that's
out.
I'm blocked by the kids. That's okay.
Oh, that's okay. Go
There's
find a
Brian,
corner.
and Brian and I are having a nice conversation while the
Oh,
kids
this is
are
cool. This is funny.
going to town.
Hold on. Look at these. Look at these kids.
Yes. So the
They were
one
having a
that's making the face
blast.
in front, they were having so much fun. It's because they were sugared up. So, um, anyways, it was a really great time to spend that and get to meet the families, get the families together, and I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to doing it again. And when we did
Look.
that, I gave this Rodecaster Pro 2 that I had bought a couple years ago with the intention of doing this program with Alicia.
Look. There you guys are.
There we are, having a nice
Whoa.
conversation. So
Yeah. It
cool.
was awesome.
It was a
It was
great time.
awesome.
So I'm glad we got to meet and get the family together. And I'm looking forward to doing more. Brian and I had a nice conversation about fishing and about um,
Lots of stuff. You guys talked about
uh,
lots of stuff. Tattoos, fishing. Zach's frozen. We'll wait for Zach to come back. He's frozen. Uh-oh.
I
There
lost
he
you.
is.
So
I
the
said
reason I'm in a
we'll wait for
strange
Zach to come back.
location,
He's frozen.
I'm in a strange
Yeah.
location right now. I took the ethics exam today for my bar license. So I am in Cheyenne, between Cheyenne and Laramie, in an undisclosed location in my parents' compound. And and with such, the coverage sucks. So there is a
Same.
lack of Wi-Fi. It has really impacted our ability to play Fortnite, and I feel like it's going to continue to interact with this live broadcast. But today we're really focused on uh, connecting Alicia and I and talking about that interaction with her husband, but also we're going to focus today on co-parenting because Alicia and
Oh,
I
good.
both co-parent with our kids. Alicia's probably
Well,
more in the lines of parallel parenting.
parallel
Would you
parenting.
agree? And
Yes.
my son's mom and I are co-parenting. We interact together every day. So I see my
That's
son's
good.
mom every day. I text her every day, sometimes even when I don't want to. And I'm sure she feels the exact same way. And with it is just what it is. But we're doing a really great job of working together for the most part, and
Yeah.
not without its hiccups and its problems. But that, so I thought it'd be a nice chance to get to talk about how Alicia's experience is with her co-parenting, parallel parenting situation, juxtaposed against my experience with my son's mom and how we are co-parenting. And we're here to take questions. So if you have questions and you want some answers, um, good luck on the answers. But we can definitely take your questions and see what everybody thinks. So,
Are you
Alicia,
running
I'd love to
off?
hear. Go ahead.
Just real quick. Are you running off your phone?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, I just can't see.
All right. I am on my
Might
computer
not be any yet. I just
with the
I
camera to my phone.
what?
My camera's my phone because my computer camera is garbage. But I am actually on my computer.
But you can see all the comments if there's questions, that kind of thing. Because I can't.
Yes, I can. I can. Yes. If there's questions, I'll pop them up. I'll click on them and I'll put them on because you're on your phone. And
Right.
so I'd like
Because
to
my
hear because
computer
I think
camera is garbage. I'm sick of it.
well in due time we'll get all the cool tools and we'll be super legit. So but right
Super
now
legit.
we are piecemealing this together and it's coming together nicely. I'm really excited what we have going on.
And
Kenny, thanks. Uh,
you guys are killing me.
thanks,
Oh,
Kenny.
right now?
Anthony
That's the
cancel. I know who
wrong
that is.
time.
I should
Isn't
know
that
who Anthony
early?
canceled.
Or maybe it's because
Uh,
we're usually Tuesday instead of Wednesday?
I think they were running late today. Although we're also running late today. I think he was at 5 and we were 6:30, but it's okay.
All right. Either
Hey,
way.
either way, best regards to Tony and Anthony Cancel. Hope they have a nice conversation. I'll get to watch it on the flip side. So
Yeah.
probably tomorrow when I'm driving back up to Rapid City to go celebrate my girlfriend's son's birthday. He turns 8 years old tomorrow. So
Wow, that'll be fun. I didn't realize their
yeah,
birthdays were so close because yours son was just a month ago,
a month.
right?
Yeah, they're 2 months to the day and a
Oh,
year.
nice.
So they're ten
Oh,
months apart. Hmm.
that's good.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? It's amazing the difference. And my girlfriend and I talk about it quite a lot. In our sons, and he's raised almost exclusively by her. And there's been some issues and stuff, which is not for me to talk about today, but that may be a different conversation. Um, but that been raised 99% of the time by his mom. And my son's had me in his life from day one and been a huge influence in my son's life. And there's a huge difference in the way that um, my our sons act and behave. And it would be an interesting conversation to have on a future date. But today we're talking about co-parenting and parallel parenting, right?
Okay. Yes.
We're going to just keep, Kitty, we're going to keep killing it today. So,
Yes.
um, you know, uh, Michael Elsie, um, there's no state as a father's state. Really,
Too bad my
um,
state fathers don't have no rights.
I think you got some rights, but the state gets in the way, and we get to change the laws and make a difference in helping the judges in the state get out of the way of families and get out of the way of parenting and allow parents to figure this out and work together to be the best for their kids. And the state needs to be as the place of last resort as opposed to interfering and getting in the way. Hey,
Well,
got a
we
guy
give
named
them
Tom.
consent to do that, right, Zach?
We have given them consent, right? We have made laws that have
If you
allowed
go
them.
there, if you get involved with them, you're giving them consent to kind of make the rules for you and your family, right? That's just what I would think.
Yes,
Yes, you have to give them
I agree.
consent.
Hey. Well, before we get started on this today, actually, you know what? Let's bring out a guest speaker today to talk about.
We have a guest speaker.
Uh, we're going to bring somebody on today. We were going to have Jeff Millar on, and Jeff's having a problem. But if you want to add the guy who's, can you send a message to Tom Pischke on Messenger and give him a invite? I don't know how to do that.
Yes, I can do that, but you got to give me a
Uh,
sec.
you got a second?
You got to give me a sec.
So while we're doing that, I'll talk a little bit about my experience with shared parenting and how shared parenting has come about with my son's mom and I. We don't share time exactly. Like she has more overnights with our son than I have overnights. I think we're probably in the range of like 32, 35% of the time that I have overnights and she has the rest of her nights. But I do get my son every morning and I help him get to school. Um, and and that is something that she has given to me and allowed that is not in our court order. And I do have in the court order that I get him every day from school until she gets off of work. So I usually have about 2.5 hours every afternoon with my son. I pick him up from school and we go home. And you know what? If I had any skill with this thing right now, I would share a video because every day that I pick my son up from school, he always has his coats off, his backpack's on the ground, and he sees me. And he's in first grade, so he has to tell his teacher that he sees his dad. And as soon as he does that, I can see him from across the courtyard, right? Like the whole entire playground. And he sees me and he's just watching. And he puts his stuff down and he gets down in like a 3 point stance, like he's about to like run a 40, which he does. And he is on a
Exactly.
mad sprint. Boom. And he's just on this sprint. I'm gonna put a video up on Facebook after this. Mad sprint. It is the cutest thing. He's got his head back and he's so pumped up and he runs at me and he shoulder charges me. Boom, as hard as he
That's
can. He's
here.
like, oh,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, and he's so pumped every time that he sees me. And it's a magical thing to get to have that experience. And how long will that last? I don't know. Maybe I'll get to have it in second grade. But his teacher always tells me how much he looks forward to that. And he talks about how he's going to tackle me at the end of school every single day. And it's a blessing to get to have that and to have that in our writings.
Yes.
And um, and so, on that note, let's bring around another parent right now that I cherish as a friend, as an advocate. He is one of the best. He has dedicated years of his life to changing laws and
Oh,
supporting
thank you.
families in his state and my state now. Um, I couldn't ask for a better friend and a better guy to work with. And I met this man by happy chance at the Americans for Equal Shared Parenting in 2018, and I was looking for a seat, and I knew that I was going to be speaking, and I thought I'd sit near the end, and I sat next to this guy, and we struck up a conversation, and we talk regularly ever since. And so I want to bring on one of my good friends. If you're watching the podcast, you can see his name at the bottom. My friend Tom Pischke. Welcome, my friend.
Good job.
Hey,
How are you?
That was
my goodness,
seamless.
Zach, thank you for such kind words. Wow.
That was nice.
Uh, I mean, they're all real. There are people that have dedicated themselves to making changes and stuff, and there's people who talk about making changes, and you are there in the trenches every day, making the effort, doing the work, and you have committed your life. And anybody that knows you in South Dakota knows how passionate and dedicated you are to this change. And I couldn't ask for a better guy to be working with. And I am so excited to get to have you as a friend and as a partner in bringing about this change for our state, man. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Zach. That's very nice of you to say. Um, yeah, I guess we're going on 8 years here now that I've been pursuing this, and it all started because of what happened to me in my life and in my custody case, and I just thought that was not right, and I want to make a change. I want to make a change for the better. And on February 16th of 2016, one of my coworkers says, why don't you run for the legislature? I wasn't getting enough time with my kids, and he made that statement to me, and that was the moment. I mean, that's really my story. Is that I made the decision to do it, and I've been in the trenches ever since. So yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those like those moments, right? You're like, well, fuck, I don't have my kids, right? What else am I going to do? I might as
Yeah.
well go out there and do this. I mean, if I'm not going to see
Yeah.
them, I should at least fight to help other dads and my kids to be able to see their kids one day in the future. And
Yeah, do something about it.
dude, you're an amazing impact, and you have really had a huge impact on families in South Dakota. I get my son one night every week and another on Monday or Sunday night every single week because of the efforts that you've done. And
Hmm.
I personally thank you. And I know if my son could thank you right now, my son would probably bum rush you all the way from across the whole entire courtyard also, and take you out because he cherishes all those moments. So thank
He
Yeah.
you
would.
so much.
You're very welcome.
He would too.
I passed that bill a couple years ago. Oh boy, it must be 4 years ago now or so. That the guidelines need to be reviewed every 4 years, and that the time that when we finally did make that change and updated those guidelines, they hadn't been updated in a long time. And before that, it was just basically at the discretion of the South Dakota Supreme Court, and whenever they wanted to get around to it, and how the courts work. And so we passed that through the legislature, and now every 4 years we have to review those and make sure that they're up to snuff, and the public gets to come and testify and talk to the committee. And yeah, that's been a big change. And then I had another bill that I passed that talked about if the child doesn't want to live with the custodial parent, wants to, this is they're older, they can drive, and wants to live with the non-custodial parent, and if the other parent, the custodial parent, doesn't object, it's basically considered a change of custody after 180 days. I mean, I brought that law for one of my friends over on my side of the state, and he specifically changed his life. He got to have the last year of that his son's high school career with with having custody because of that law that I changed. So it's really neat to see some of the impacts that you can make in people's lives, and so
It's a good
Yeah.
one.
been
And
good.
in the healthy situations, I mean, it helps, especially, I mean, I would think it, applies more to, those teen years type situations, but it
Hmm.
lets them, it helps them be free to have a voice in the situation, and
Yeah,
that somebody's actually going to listen to them. And yeah, maybe you get back, well, you never get back the time, but
right.
make up for some time that was lost.
Yeah, I mean that bill specifically kind of applies when the child has their driver's license and has the ability to have a vehicle. And in South Dakota, a lot of kids do have vehicles because we're a rural state and you got to be able to drive to school or wherever you need to go. And yeah, this child just said, "No, Mom, I don't like it here. I want to go live with my dad," and that's what happened. So, but yeah,
Mhm.
so what do
Yeah.
you want to talk about?
Well, with you especially, I want to talk about this campaign season. Are you going to run again for office?
Yeah, so that's a great topic to bring up. Yeah, I am running again for the South Dakota Senate in District 25. Um, and so I do have a tough primary on my hands. And so I'm kind of asking all of your viewers here if they'd be willing to support me financially in some way. My website is www.pischke4sd.com. That is PISCHKE 4SD.com. And go on there, check that out. If you could make a financial donation, that would be wonderful. Um, because my opponent, he's been recruited by the establishment Republicans here in the state, and as you
No
know,
way.
the
The
generally
rhinos?
the
No way.
I'm not
That
gonna
doesn't
call many
happen.
names on your
Hey,
program, right?
you don't have to. I'm a name
Yeah,
caller.
yeah. They've been recruited to take me out. I'm obviously a pretty staunch conservative. I stand up for family values. I stand up for your constitutional rights. I take my oath to the Constitution seriously. I don't bend a knee to the education lobbyists. I don't bend a knee to the economic development lobbyists, and all that kind of adds up over a while, right? I mean, so if I'm not going to bend a
Fishkey
knee
for
to those,
president.
let's just stay in the Senate
Let's
for
just
now.
put
You know,
a state Senate.
but
Let's say there.
right,
Just
right,
saying.
right.
Sorry.
You got me off my little spiel there.
I'm sorry.
So that's okay. So
What I'm here for.
just based on my principles and my guidelines for how I am as a person, that's how I am as a legislator too. Like I said, I don't bend a knee to the lobbyists, and obviously there's others that are in power that don't like that, and they want to be able to replace me. And so they've recruited a hardworking Republican candidate to do that. He's going to be well funded. And so, yeah, I guess I'm asking for financial support. So if you have the means and you're willing.
But he's a rhino, you said?
He's made some very poor votes, I would say, in the past. I do know him personally. I think he's an okay guy as a friend. But as a politician, as someone that represents the district, I don't think he represents the conservative Christian values that we hold dear and near in this area. So, yeah. So,
no doubt. I mean, it's important when we're out here that we work on supporting those who do so much for us. And to get these bills passed, we have to have legislators who are supporting our causes and making a difference for the changes we want to have. If we don't have legislators in there to propose our bills and to fight for our bills, we won't get any bills passed. They will jump up the amount of money they're taking for child support. They will pass bills to make it instead of being 1.5 times, 1.75% of your income being counted. And they'll keep doing that because they want to fill the state coffers with your hard-earned work and the money that you make. And they don't care one bit about you surviving and having a quality of life that's of decent things, because all they care about is they have the money to pay the money for their agencies and their pet projects, and they don't care one bit about you. And if you want to have these things happening in your state, around the country, you get to stand up and support people like Tom with some cash. If you live in South Dakota, you can definitely put a sign in your yard. You can definitely talk to all your friends who live in District 25. Del Rapids is where that's at. But I know I have one friend in Del Rapids, and that's Tom. So
No
how you have one friend, Tom, and but otherwise,
obviously.
the only impact you can have to bring this change is to throw some money at it to help him afford to go out there and buy the flyers, to pay for the mailers, to do the things that it takes. And $10 can make a big difference. You can get a couple flyers out there. $100 could change this vote, and he needs it, and the kids and parents of South Dakota need it. And with changing a lot of South Dakota, like we have in Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, all those states, adding South Dakota to the list of the states that have made shared parenting a standard will only impact other states and help us out to make this change across the country. And so we need to keep supporting guys like Tom who are out here in the trenches, fighting the fight in the legislature, talking about this stuff, bringing this case up, not letting these other legislators in the judiciary and people who don't care about you or your kids making decisions that affect you and your kids. And Tom's out there working on us every day. He has been committed and focused, and I brought him on here today because this is the kind of man that we need to be voting for and supporting. And I'm asking you guys, if you guys have anything, the opportunity right now is to get Tom to get through this primary June 4th. Is that correct?
June 4th, yep, is the primary date.
June 4th. Yep. So if you can move to Del Rapids and vote for him, all the power. But otherwise, a few dollars here and a few dollars there can make the biggest difference in helping Tom overcome this challenge that he has right now, maintain his position, and keep fighting a good fight for families and your constitutional rights.
Yes.
So
yeah, well said. I do a lot of direct mailing to people. I write out a lot of handwritten postcards. I send a lot of things, fundraising letters. This all takes stamps and postage and that thing. Just think of like a roll of stamps, right? If I send out 100 letters, a roll of stamps is what, 55, 58? I don't even know what a roll of stamps cost nowadays. But just think that $50 can make that can send 100 letters to other people in my district, informing them of how how my voting was the last term, asking them for more money, and then it just snowballs, right? And so, like I said, just a $50 donation, $100 donation goes a long ways in snowballing that effort. So, obviously, if you do more, that's great. If you do less, that's great too. But every little bit counts. So, and another point you brought up, Zach, is that when I first came in, I remember one of my guys that ended up being a mentor to me really learned a lot about the legislature and just holding true to value, your conservative values and how to operate around in the House at the time. And I came in as a freshman, 2017, and I killed the agency child support bill, the increase to child support
Right.
as a 2 years, or excuse me, 2 weeks into my session, my first 2 weeks, and I killed this agency bill. And I remember this guy talking to me. He's like, I would have just rubber stamped this bill. I had no idea. And I came in, I was prepared. I had knew that this change was coming, and then like I had everything set to go before I even got sworn in my very first time. And I went up and I brought an amendment in the Judiciary Committee, and of course it was stacked with rhinos, and it passed out of there no problem. Then I just worked it on the floor, and I killed this thing. And I mean, uh, people around the state that were paying attention, they knew I was for real at that point in time. So it's pretty odd, pretty. I don't know. It's really a difficult thing to kill an agency bill, and it's really something if you can come in as a freshman
For
and
sure.
accomplish that. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool at the time. So
That is.
Yeah, I mean that's an achievement right there. I mean the agencies have huge pull, and they
oh yeah.
get their money from the state. That's where the money comes from.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it was the child support increases from the Department of Child Support, and they just thought they were gonna, this is gonna be easy thing. We're just gonna steamroll this through, and it's not gonna be no big deal. And yeah, they ran into Representative Pischke, and I said, no, not on my dime.
Not this
I'm
time.
gonna tell a funny story. So I've been working with my nonprofit. I'm working on getting funds, and the state of Wyoming has gotten me funds to do fatherhood programs in the state of Wyoming, and I'm working on doing some programs in South Dakota. And I hit Tom. I'm like, hey, we got to work on getting some funds for my nonprofit. How do we work on getting some programs set up? And Tom goes, oh, you just want state handout money also? I
Same
was
as
like,
everybody
listen,
else.
yeah, I was like, if we're going to be handing out money to somebody, it should go to me. If
Yeah.
we're giving the money to anybody. But even then, Tom, I mean, just to be true to himself and like to what he really believes in, he was like, I can't even give it to my friend. Like, I'm not even giving my friend a rubber stamp for funds, like because I care so much about like doing the right thing and what I believe to be true, and I can't fault him for that. And it's a slippery slope when you start giving funds to somebody, then it starts going to somebody else. And I don't
Yeah.
want to be
Exactly.
beholden to the state, and he didn't want me to be beholden to the state because
Yeah.
the things we can do without having a state oversight is significantly increased because the stuff that I'm doing with the state of Wyoming is really intense, and they have total control over what I do with the funds that they're going to give me, and we don't want that in South Dakota either. And what we really want in South Dakota is more guys like Tom Pischke in there, or women. I don't care who it is, but
Yeah.
somebody out there who's going to go out there and fight for families and for kids
Yeah.
and maintaining family values and your constitutional rights. And Tom's fighting for it every single day. I've seen the bills that you put up there, not just the shared parenting bills, and I've seen you on the legislature, and I know the work that you do, and I appreciate you, and I know that you've made a huge difference in my life and so many lives that of dads and kids that you'll never meet and never know, and also that will never even know of you. They will never even know who the man is, or that it was even a thing that you made this change, and you've changed lives, man, and it's such a powerful thing, and I want you to be able to stay in there because I know the power you have to impact even more families and make even a bigger difference, and I can't wait to see all the changes that you get to bring.
Wow, Zach.
Wow. Yeah. When you say it like
Yeah.
that, it's pretty heavy.
It is heavy.
It is, man.
You can
That's
just put it
crazy.
to words.
But you're right. I mean, yeah, the impact is going to be it's far and wide, and it's yeah, it's more than you can. It's you know how oh wow you know how I'm just a regular guy is that politicians, they can come up with something to say no matter what, and that just kind of took it away from me there. Wow, that
Yeah.
was deep.
I,
That's good.
I love you, man. I think that there's people in this that have made a big difference and have impacted my life. And when I when I look at somebody who's made a big impact and really changed my life for the better, you're on the top of the list, man.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
Hey, hey, I was just noticing as you put the website on here, it's actually Pishke, and the four is spelled out with FOR, but I don't know.
Oh, I'm gonna change that right now.
I
Yeah,
didn't do it. It's Zach.
but that
Thank
would have
you.
been snazzy to do it like that, but I didn't think of it like that.
That's okay. That's
Maybe
okay. Well,
next year.
the next you can always do it the next time. I added it to
Yeah,
all of them
next
now, so I
time.
will update.
I probably should own both those URL. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Thank you.
There we go. You're welcome. Thank you.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, man. Well,
Oh,
tell me a little bit
Joe.
about how do you that's about your parenting style. So we're going to talk today about like shared parenting and parallel parenting.
Okay.
How do
Right.
you and your ex parent, and how is that working out for your kids right now?
Time out for a second.
Okay.
Sorry. It's just because we were talking about the bill from before that
Okay,
Tom worked with. And I just wanted to point out Wayne Elder's comment. Did you see that one?
I did not.
He said lots of times it may be more appropriate to say time that was stolen instead of time that was lost. And I just,
Hmm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's true. We think about it as like, oh, we'll get back the time when that was lost. That's the word. In all those
Right.
situations that might pop up, it's like, well, time lost, you're never going to get it back. But
Yeah.
stolen is the correct word. And I wanted to point that out because laying
Yeah.
it out it's fair. It's absolutely fair
Right.
to say it that way.
I saw a meme one time and talked about the number of weekends that a child has from the time they're born until they're 18 years old.
18. Yeah.
And if you break that down, and then you only get every other weekend of that, and then you break it down into hours, it's like just a fraction of that child's life if you're an every other weekend parent.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
it's really sad, unfortunately. And yeah,
Well,
it is almost like it's stolen from you.
how do you get to be a serious impact when you're talking about, you get a couple hundred hours a year, right? Like you might get 100 hours a month. How do you have a significant impact on raising your kids when you're limited by so little time, and
Yeah.
it's
Well,
it makes it
if
really
you
difficult.
for me personally, during the summer now, I went back to court to adjust my schedule. Oh, back in 2018, 2019, somewhere along there, and I was able to get 50-50 in the summertime when my kids got a little bit older. So I
So instead
appreciate
of
that.
like, what- did you have 6 weeks in the summer before or no?
No, my children were so young, or my youngest was so young when I first went through divorce. I only got 2 weeks in the summertime with them. I could I think I did it 2 weeks straight. Otherwise, I just had an every other weekend type thing, even the summertime. So that was really, I thought that was just really poor. And so but that was in part of our guidelines because my youngest was under a year at the time when
Yeah.
we divorced, and so that's what the guidelines said, and that's just the way it ended up. So, but now it's 50-50. We have a week on, week off during the summer, so I do appreciate that. But then during the school year, I have every other weekend. I pick them up Friday night, and then I do take them to school on Monday morning,
Monday morning.
and then I have Wednesday nights. And so I just got back from taking my kids back to my ex. That's why I was late. I couldn't get here till 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so, but to get to your point of how I parent, I guess I just make the most of the time that I do have, especially on the weekends.
Yeah.
I make sure try to make a point that we go to church. I make a point that we try to pray for during our meals. Even tonight, we came back. My wife now, she had supper ready. We come back, we say our meal prayer, we have a meal together, and then we went and played basketball at the park, and then we went back. And so I just try to make the most of, I only have 2.5 hours here on a Wednesday night. I try to make the most of that and try to instill my values as a parent, and try to install that, in my kids. So
Yeah.
I think that's important, and
Yes.
then during the weekends, I make sure that we try to make a point to go to church. We try to make a point to do something as a family. Um, just all those things. The kids are involved in sports at this point, so we're running around a lot, chasing them, going to Brooklyn's playing basketball. My sons are both playing baseball, and my oldest is playing high school baseball now this year. And so there's a lot of stuff that we are doing together. And so I'm a busy guy, and I'm also trying to win a campaign too. So, but that's just how it works. So that's kind of how I make the most of my time with my kids, trying to, instill my Christian conservative values that I grew up with. Try to pass that along to them. Try to teach them right from wrong and correct them when they need to be, and just try to make the most of my time. And there are times where there has been disagreements between myself and my ex, and I'll email her and say, hey, this is what happened and this is how I see this. But, it doesn't always go the way you want. And you just kind of have to, it's been hard for me at times to make that concession. And honestly, my wife now has been really good for me and helping me manage some of that stuff, because my ex has been difficult to deal with at times. So, but that's how I deal with it. And everybody's probably different, and everybody has a different situation. I understand that, but you just try to do the best you can for your kids.
Right. Yeah.
Yep, no doubt. I see all the photos. I follow you on Facebook. I get to see all the stuff. You guys do some wonderful things together, and I think you spend a lot of time planning out your time, right? Like you think about what you want to do on that weekend that you have them, and you like organize stuff to make it impactful, don't you?
Try to, my hobbies include hunting and fishing and sports. And so there's a lot of times during the fall where, yeah, I have taken all my kids have shot a deer now. I take my son duck hunting every
Nice.
year. Yeah. Then I take advantage of the mentored program, mentored deer hunting that they have in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah, I
can
mean,
they mentor old guys like me who've never gone hunting? I've never gone hunting
I
before.
probably could. Yeah, I probably could
Really?
get you on a deer here or there.
I've
But
never been hunting. I have a license and everything. None of my family hunts, and none of my friends hunt in Wyoming. I've never been hunting. So
oh
You do
man,
hunter
Zach,
safety,
um,
Zach? Did you
with a
do
I have
hunter
beard
hunter
like
safety.
that,
safety?
with a
Yes, I have.
beard like that, you have got to shoot a deer eventually.
I freaking do, right? I got some camo and everything, man. I'll get out there. So I'm gonna make some kids or dads camo hats for us to have out there and
Nice.
take out there and
That'd
do some
be
hunting.
rad.
Some orange ones and some pink ones. So it'll be dope, right?
That's
Um,
great.
is pink allowed in South Dakota for hunting
We just
or
passed a bill this last session that
Now King's allowed.
allows for pink to be used when big game hunting. Yep. That's
that's
something
good because
that's
Such a big
fantastic.
deal.
It's something that's coming across the nation, and so yeah, South Dakota just passed that, and I voted for that. So
I got really good skin for pink. Just gonna say, so like I got that dark like Southern Mediterranean skin tone, and that pink just
yeah,
pops. So
yeah.
it looks sharp.
After when we're done here, maybe we could talk about your skincare routine. It looks really good.
Thanks, man. I use my shampoo everywhere. That's how I do it.
Oh
So just
yeah,
whatever shampoo goes on my head goes on my whole entire body,
You guys are
and
ridiculous.
I do that at least 4 times a week. So every time I
nice.
go to the gym.
Wow,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. So
Alyssa, you look nice
Interesting.
too, but Zach's skin is just magnificent.
thanks.
Wow.
We did not know this was going here, and it's hilarious. But I think I would love to go hunting with you and do some of that stuff. It's something that I've wanted to do for a long
I
time. So
can't not
I'll
say
hit you
whatever
up.
it is on my face. I can't.
Oh, shoot.
Anyways, so with that note, Tom, what would you like to end this on today before we go back to our parallel and co-parenting discussion? What would you like to leave everybody with here before you go?
Well, one more thing I did want to talk about before we
Yeah.
get to that closing is that we had Senate Bill 214 this last year, and I don't know if we've kind of provided an update on how
We
that
did
needs to
not
be.
actually.
Yeah.
So, I think when I was on before, I came from you from the South Dakota Senate chamber, and that was kind of neat.
Yeah,
And
it
I was
was.
dressed up a little bit more than I am now. But we had Senate Bill 214 this last year, and that was able to get it out of committee on the Senate side. And then I was able to get 16 votes the first time with that bill. And I had one person I know was a supporter, was not there that day. So I made a motion to reconsider it the next day when I knew he was going to be there. And then I had one person that flaked off on me, and I thought I had another person I could get to come my way. And unfortunately, it just didn't happen. And so only ended up with 15 votes next time. But again, really close. I mean, we were 2 votes short the first day, 3 votes short the next day. So we really, that's closer than I've ever seen it come in the Senate. And so, that comes from me being out in Pierre and having some influence out there. And just trying to make those connections and try to help people understand that this is something that's really important to families. So
Yeah.
if we get it reelected, we'll probably continue to make those connections and
No
try
ifs.
again. And so we're going to do that. But that's kind of
Hey,
how everything ended up. So
when you get reelected, my friend, because you
yeah,
are getting reelected. So
that's right. When we get reelected. So just to finish up here on that, I guess again, check out the website that you see on the screen here, and if you have it in your hearts and you have a little bit extra money, I would really appreciate you sending something my way. If you know people that this has impacted their lives, or their grandmothers or anybody, this just know that I am that one person in South Dakota that is bringing this to the forefront each and every single year. And
mhm.
there's other people in other states that are fighting the same fight too. But here in South Dakota, I'm that guy. So
Yeah, yes,
yep.
he is, man. If you're from South Dakota, I got some friends that I'm definitely going to be talking to and pushing your direction. And I look forward to getting some funds raised for you and helping you make this change, man. Let's keep going on it. So thank you so much. I think Wayne just talked about, sitting here talking about the experiences and being active with your kids, man. And I see the photos and I know how much they love you. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. So
Thank you.
man, thanks, Tom, for being on again. We're gonna have you on here in like about another couple weeks to a month because I want to talk about some more and get some updates and get your stuff out there. So send me copies what you got. I want to see the mailers and the printouts, and I want to be able to spread the word and the love on Facebook. We got I want to say we have like in South Dakota, your page has a lot more followers, but I want to say I have like 500 followers in South Dakota right now. So
Okay.
Rapid City
True.
is coming up. So for kids, it's
What are
their
you talking
dads,
about? Oh, just on
and I want to
the
share it.
state page?
His
Oh,
state page. He runs South Dakota shared parenting, right? Equal shared
Yeah,
parenting.
I'm one of the admins on the South Dakota Shared Parenting page. Yeah, I guess I haven't been too active in. We tried to get you
They're
active.
not too active. I know. We need to get on
Yeah,
that again. I want to
I
get
don't
active
know.
and put stuff on there.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
we need to figure that out how to get you on there. So
I, I know your cell phone number. I'll call you. And I just took my ethics exam today. So my last exam to become a lawyer was done today. I expect that I'm gonna pass them both. I should know end of April about both of my exams. So my anticipation is that I will be a lawyer by June 1st in South Dakota.
that would be
yeah.
So
remarkable. That's awesome.
yeah.
Congratulations, bud.
So thanks, man. Thanks, man.
No
I
worries.
I appreciate you so much.
Thank
Let's
you, Tom.
uh let's let's connect next week. Are you guys in spring break right now?
Our session just ended for us yesterday, actually.
No,
Are you on spring
for
break with your
kids.
kids?
Oh no.
Schools.
Well, uh, my kids are with my ex for Easter, and so
Okay.
Your
I don't.
guys' spring break's probably after then.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't. My schedule for my kids right now doesn't really matter if it's spring break or not. It's every other weekend. So
Oh,
Okay.
even
Okay.
okay.
if they have extra days, it's sometimes a battle even to get those extra days. So yep,
Yeah. Well,
yep, deep
I
sigh.
hope.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I hope that she
We
has some
know.
grace and comes around to that. We both have
We
been
all
there
know.
and
Yep.
Yeah, I
keep
mean, it just
asking. All you can do is ask, right?
yeah, it's something it's gotten better over the years. Sometimes she does allow a little grace there, and so that's nice. But it's pretty rigid at times, so it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But the kids actually have more influence on it than anything. if they want to spend extra time, they can make that play and make that ask to mom, and then sometimes it can happen. But that's just kind of how it has
Nice.
to work. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least she listens
Yeah.
to that.
yeah. So
That's good.
yeah, are we ending, or you want to talk about more stuff? What do you want to do? Are you kicking me off?
Zach's frozen. I don't know what
Yeah,
he
he
wants
is.
to do. Zach. He's in the compound at an undisclosed location.
Wayne was
He's
asking about an
frozen.
ethics exam for lawyers, and that froze you up.
Yeah, I know, right? Lawyer's
Right?
like, wait a second, ethics? We don't do that.
Exactly.
So lawyer ethics is different than normal ethics. It is the least common denominator not to get sued as a lawyer. That's what the whole thing's about. So how do you not get sued and lose your license as a lawyer?
I think like ethics
And
and lawyer is oxymoron. What do you say to that?
yes, I think that for the most part, it's about,
Is that the right word for that?
not,
Oxymoron? Is that what I meant?
Yeah, it's
yes.
kind of an
Yeah.
oxymoron.
Okay, thank you.
I think that most
Thank you for
lawyers would say
confirming.
that they're very ethical. And the problem is that the way that the laws are written and stuff, especially in family court, that being ethical and doing the right thing is not what that's about. And this is about fleecing people for cash and money and using kids as weapons. And it's time to change that stuff. And Tom is the champion in South Dakota right now for that change. And we need to support him and guys like him across this country to bring this change and make it happen. So thanks, my friend.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Have a great day. I'll see
Yeah,
you soon.
you guys too. Yep. Later.
All right, bye-bye. All right. I love Tom Pischke. He is one of my favorite people. And the guy
What more could you ask for?
loves,
That's why I'm like, Tom for president.
I know,
Well,
right?
I mean, I'd have to talk to him a little bit more, like about a few more things, but I'm pretty sure he's pretty conservative like me. So he's pretty cool.
You're right. Oh, super cool. He's a great guy. So, um, all kinds of fun comments about ethics going on out here. Getting kicks. Yeah.
Canons and law require attorneys to zealously represent their clients, and clients are not the children. You know, I agree with that statement. However, most family law attorneys that I've ever dealt with, that is not the case. It's just not the case. It's my personal experience.
I think that
Not my
the hard
personal
part,
experience.
not mine, and not what I hear a lot from going around here, is that the kids are used as leverage, and a lot of lawyers know that, and
Mm-hmm.
they get to pit two people against each other, and the first thing the lawyers ask is how much money you got, and they know how much money you have right off top, and I just think that's the wrong approach to how family court is being run, and that we
Yeah,
really
like
need to be
Wayne
focused
said,
on. Right, I don't know whatever. Yeah,
we're gonna skip.
we need to be we need to be focused on how do we support families separating amicably, helping kids have uh, healed and loving parents that are involved and connected with their kids, and not using these kids to punish one parent, but that kids need to have both their parents, and that there's benefits to be gained, and that if we're not going through these knockdown, drag out fights over our kids and spending all of our kids' inheritance and money to hopefully get a little bit of time with our kids would be better off. We'd have a better country, we'd have better schools and everything else. So it's really important to make these
But
changes. It's really important to support people like Tom Pischke. I can name off probably a half dozen senators and House reps around the country who are fighting this fight day in and day out, working to make these changes. And those people need to be supported. I know we're all going through this hard times. We're all battling, giving away our money and having to live off of pennies from what we make and surviving. And even with that pennies, where can you find $10? Have you bought extra coffees? Where can you find $25? Are you going out and getting Starbucks? Are you meal prepping at your house? And could you meal prep a couple meals and eat some taco meat and rice like I do every freaking day? And could that help you to give a little bit to somebody who's out there day in and day out making a change and providing the differences for your kids that you want to have? Because our kids are going to be 18 years old pretty soon, and they're going to be having kids. And when they're having kids, we don't want them going out there and having the same fight, man. I don't want to see my son, have to do what I had to do to be his dad. And it's been a struggle. We've had our differences, and it's been hard to be in my son's life. But my son has me now in a very nice situation. And no thanks to the attorneys and no thanks to the court system who wanted to go out there and give me the least amount of time. I could have been a felon. I could have been a felon who just got out of jail, and I would have gotten the exact same amount of time that I got as a guy who owned a business and was a leader in the community and working towards. I was on a couple of different nonprofits, their boards in the community. I had been involved actively in making Cheyenne a better place and a great place for kids, and it was all used against me. And the fact that I went to law school, that was used against me. The judge said that me going to law school showed my instability and my anger for the system, and my son shouldn't have an angry dad out there fighting to change laws and help kids get to have dads, because that's not what kids need. And I got the court docs approved. So thanks, Campbell. I'm here today because of you, my friend, and we're gonna change all this stuff. So he's a lawyer judge, so he retired a couple weeks ago. So I don't know the new judge I got in his place, and I'm hoping that he's a more gracious and caring man who actually really wants to help families split amicably and make a difference so our kids can be healthier and stronger. And I really hold space that this guy does the right stuff, unlike what I've seen in the past. So it's time to do better. We got new people in the office, and let's make it happen. So anyways, on to what we really started with today, and we are an hour into the program. Haven't even
I
really
don't
hit
know.
on,
I'm sorry I had to step away. I got to step
you're
away a
okay.
lot sometimes, guys.
She has kids who
People
are,
running around here. And
we can't hear
not.
them. We couldn't hear it. We
Okay.
haven't heard them at all. So,
I heard it. It was coming. I heard it.
Daniel, that's a story for a different day. And
What?
you are 100% correct in your interpretation and your assessment of who this man was. And he definitely saw me as a threat, and he was out there to use me as a whipping post and to show me that he had all the power and that he could control my son and my relationship. And guess what, buddy? You lost, because my son gets me every single day. So you couldn't go out there and abuse my son, because I did all the things to work with my son's mom, and we've made a great relationship out of this. And your hatred and anger towards me and using me as an example did not stop me, and it only made me stronger. And my son's better and going to be better because of the man you forced me to be. So thank you.
Yeah, they made it. They
Come at me, boy.
They created you.
My son would say,
Created us
uppercut. Yeah, man, I'm going to tell you what, the last 7 years have been really hard. And besides the last year of my life, the 5 years before that have been the deepest and darkest years I've ever had in my whole entire life. And I've really battled through sadness and depression and anxiety, anger and desire for revenge and resistance to the system. Oh, I was so mad. And I was just so destroyed. I know the man that I am. I know the value that I bring to my son and how committed and focused I was. Even when he was a baby, I was so excited about being my son's dad. I read books. My son's very first book was a book about World War I. I had him on my legs and on my chest, and I would read him for hours at the end of the day and stuff. And we would read this book, and I was reading about World War I. It's not a great topic, but he got to hear some of the biggest words that most people get to hear when he was less than 6 months old. And I took my son on trips. I did all these things for my son, and I had this vision of our life together. And that guy wanted to use my son to prove a point that he had the power to dictate our life. And that's just ugly and gross. And when he came to my law school class and talked to my law school class about his job as a judge, he said very clearly that his job is to pick out who the winner is and the loser is, and then punish the loser to the furthest extent of the law as bad as he could. And my teacher asked me not to say anything, and I sat there and did not say one word in that class. And the judge knew I was there. He knew that I was there. He knew what was
How
happening
much
because
do you regret that at all? Do you?
no, no,
No? Sitting there and not saying anything? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Zach's frozen again. We'll wait for Zach to come back. I
you
froze
know
him on
what?
that question. What?
I know, right? I don't regret that because he's the kind of person who had gone out there and punished some other dad and some other kid because I hurt
Right.
his feelings. Because I
Yeah,
went
no
out there
kidding.
and I challenged him in front of somebody else and all these baby lawyers who were going to go out there, and
Yeah.
he would have taken it as a threat, and he would have gone out there and punished another dad harder than he already was going to punish this guy. And I knew I couldn't be the cause of that. And I knew that I couldn't change anything that he was going to do. He didn't care about me or my son, and he actually got pleasure out of going in there. And you know what? I didn't give him any pleasure. I didn't give him any satisfaction. I didn't bat an eye. I didn't change my expression. I sat there right there looking at him square and didn't even give him the impression that he made an impact. But I'm going to tell you what happened. Before the next class started, I already had talked to my teacher and I said, "You're not going to start class before I have a chance to speak." And I spoke for 15 minutes about who this judge was and how he came across and the problem we have with family court and why this judge is the problem we have right now. And he's out here teaching these lawyers who are going to be lawyers all the wrong things, and that this is not how family law is supposed to be handled. And
Not
if
the way
he's
it's
doing this
supposed
kind
to
of stuff,
be.
he's doing all the wrong things for all the wrong reasons. And it's
Yeah.
just sad that somebody like him got to have that power. And
I agree.
I handled it very professionally, and I'm really proud of myself for actually doing that because I could have lost my shit on that dude, and I would have been justified because the guy's an asshole. But I didn't. I held my cool, and I feel like it helped me to be better because you know what? I'm going to have opportunities where I want to tell people what I think about them, and I'm going to be
Yeah.
in front of a lot of judges going forward, and I get to bite my tongue and I get to do things in a respectable, reasonable manner because I also get to represent other dads. And if I go out there and I ruin my reputation and these judges hate my guts, other dads are going to be abused because of their feelings towards me. And I can't allow my feelings and stuff to impact that. And I get to go out there and do the things I get to do to help these dads out. And I get to work with Tom Pischke and other people like him. And I get to put other people like him in place. And that these are the things I'm going to do. And I'm going to change all these laws with the help of these guys. And
Right.
with these laws being changed, that's how I'm going to go out there. And then when I tell judges what they have to do by law and statute, that they don't go out there and do whatever they want. And they can't go out there and abuse kids and they can't go out there and abuse families because they have rules that tell them exactly what they have to do. And unfortunately, that's what it has to be. And I'm a Huckleberry.
There's a
Let's go.
dark alley somewhere sometime. We're not even going to think about it.
I'm not even going to think about it. I don't like dark alleys. You know, dark alleys are just dangerous places. So,
Probably not for
wear your, bull,
you.
wear your
Maybe for other
bulletproof
people.
vest.
That's all I'm saying.
I wear mine.
Maybe
I think
not
it's
for
important.
me, but maybe for other people. They do
Yeah,
exist. There's
they do
dark alleys
exist.
everywhere.
I, I try to stay out of them. So, it's always safer to be out in the open and do things above board. And my
It's just where my
intentions
head
that
goes.
we
Can't hold
can
it.
change this all and we can do all the right things. And love and what's right will win in the end. And we are going to defeat these people and these bad actors. And they can't beat us forever. So I'm looking forward to bringing about these changes in a responsible and respectful way, um, and doing the things for the families that I get to support day in and day out, and helping these kids, man, helping these families. So yeah. So,
Amen.
but shared parenting.
Well, we're
I have I share
what time is
parenting time
it?
with my son's mom. It's about time for us to go. Maybe it should be a topic for next time, and we can end this thing here today
Okay.
with that. But I think what laws
The
need
point is,
are support
Zach
this session.
co-parents,
Session.
I parallel parent, and that's pretty much the end of it.
Let's do another call with us, you and I, and do that. What laws need our support this session? Steve, good question. I don't think that, at least in South Dakota, session's over, so we won't have any more laws to be
Yeah.
passed this session. But that Tom, when he's reelected, we'll have another shared parenting law. I believe we're going to have he's going to have a law or a bill in place. Uh, he has a couple of bills in place, and we'll talk about the bills that he's actually going to write this next session, because he's got some good ideas. And there's a lot of things happening around the country right now that need to be brought other places, like the law that was passed in Texas for time lost, time recovered. I really feel like, yeah, I feel like there's a really big need for contempt laws for judges, and that they don't get to have discretion on how they hold people in contempt, but that we have guidelines for family law, especially. And when parents aren't following the rules that judges put in place, that there are very planned out approaches that judges would take. First time's a slap on the wrist, maybe. Second time's a fine. Third time's a greater fine. Fourth time's jail. Fifth time, you lose
Fourth
custody.
time's jail?
Yeah,
Four.
maybe. I don't know. We could do less than that, but I think that something along
Like,
those lines is appropriate, and that judges can't give somebody 25 times. You know, you can't give somebody 7, 8 times before you slap somebody on the wrist, before you do something. And a judge they need to step up and do those things. And unfortunately, they don't want to deal with family law. Family law sucks. You know, you've all gone through family law. It sucks. It's terrible. It's emotionally, financially, spiritually, mentally,
mentally
everything,
draining.
physically. It sucks the life out of you, and judges hate doing it. And so they just like, why can't everybody just get along and do the right things, right? Why can't everybody just get along? And they don't want to go out there and punish somebody who, especially somebody who they just gave all the power to, and punish that
Yeah.
person for abusing their power. And so just do the right thing, and just do the right thing. And judges keep saying, just do the right thing. But you go to court for a contempt and they say, hey, just do the right thing next time. Then what happens? The person doesn't do it. And then you're going 6 months again before you get to see your kids, because that person did do it. And then a judge goes, oh, weren't you guys just in here? And
Follow
you're
the
like, yes, Your
order.
Honor, we were. Just follow the
Follow
order.
the order.
Get out of my courtroom. And then they slap their wrist and they do it again
Yeah.
and again. And then you're talking about, now it's been years. And then the judge, why haven't you seen your kids? You know, and maybe you shouldn't see your kids anymore, because now you need to do supervised visits because you haven't seen your kids and they don't have a relationship with you. And then now you're going down this rabbit hole where you weren't even the cause of this problem, and your kids are suffering because they are losing their time with their non-custodial parent, who usually is their dad, and and they're not getting the chance to have that relationship. And the judges have pushed it down the road so far that now the only path they see they can actually bring you back in is through this mediator who has you sit in this room, a 9-by-9 cell with your kids, and having somebody watch you guys and getting to see them a couple of times a week. And what kid wants to do that? And what parent wants to have that their experience? Nobody does. And you're going to spend hundreds of dollars extra that you don't have a month to go out there and see your kids for a few hours inside this room with these people watching you who are not helping and not on your team to get this thing changed. They're just taking your money, and you're waiting on the system. And then you're spending money on this that you don't have now to spend on your lawyer. It's just this vicious spiral into oblivion where you never get back to that kind of time. And that we need to have these laws in place because, frankly, most legislators have absolutely no freaking idea what it's like to go through family court and what it's like to have a separated family. And they don't even know what people are talking about. And most people don't go and spend time with the legislature even talking about this stuff. So who do they hear from? They hear from lawyers. They hear from the agencies who are out there using kids to make money. Yeah, DV groups, right? So they're hearing from all the people who hate on parents because parents are the ones who pay them, and they know where their bread's buttered. The butter's bread. Their bread's buttered, and they go out there and they do that stuff. And I don't think legislators are necessarily malicious, but they are doing what they're told and doing what they think.
Some of them are.
And some of them are. So, it is true. And, Brian, we're looking to do more parents and stuff and more dads involved in the situations that are going on. And we would love to have you come on the show. Different ideas and stuff, especially with what passed here in Minnesota, would be a hell of a good topic. And so hit us up, man. I would love to spend more time working with you on that and stuff. And Steve, I would love to hear about that law, and maybe we can set up a time in the next month or so to spend some time with both you guys talking about these different things that have been passed and that are being proposed, and that that's the kind of stuff we want to talk about. We want to talk about what is going on and how do we make this difference. How do we help bring about these changes and stuff. And in doing it in a way that can be copied in different places and keep helping other states see what's being done and then take those laws and put them into.
Oh, wait. Zach's frozen again. Is he gonna come back? Oh no.
Um, mm, you know what?
Laws that
I
were.
love the compound, and I'm not. The laws, man, we gotta change them, and it's important to do it in a respectful way and a responsible way. And the laws that are happening around the country, there's so much great stuff going on, and we are blessed to have this kind of ability to have these platforms where people can connect and meet. Frozen again, I know, right? Ooh. You know what? I will send you guys pictures of the area where I'm staying at here and where the compound's at, and you'll be like, you know what? Take all your loss of coverage because it's epic. So,
It's fine.
um, I think that these things are so important, and we have such a wonderful ability with this social media and the internet and this connectivity we have in this world right now where we can leverage what everybody's doing around the country and how we're changing these laws and making these differences and tie them all together and go out there and even do a better thing for each state and for our kids across the country and learning the lessons. What didn't work here? What's not working now? How can we change these people's ideas and get them to see what we're doing is of value and make a difference? And so I would love to spend more time, especially with people that are making a difference, like that are changing these laws around the country and getting them on. So Brian, yes, I will be hitting you. Steve, I will be messaging you also because it's so important to get these out there, to get them in front of other people who might take your idea and use that to make a difference in another state. And I want to help share those messages and pass that word around, and maybe we can inspire somebody else to take what you guys have done in Minnesota and in Texas and how you guys are making these changes, and then duplicate that, and then duplicate that, and soon we'll have all the states on board making the same laws and changing the world. So, and Brian, everybody knows your cell phone number now, my friend. So it's out there.
Just put it in the comments. Just wait.
Um,
Everybody's gonna be calling. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
so
Maybe delete that one. Just
yeah.
PM it.
But so parallel parenting. I'd like to have a little bit. I know it's already been an hour, and we kind of already had a plan to be done at 8 o'clock. That's kind of our cutoff time.
Yeah,
And we are
right.
there. We are there. So, Alicia and I actually were talking about doing other ones besides these lives and actually having ones that we video and record and we actually put things together. And so
Yeah.
we have some tools. We have more time now that I'm not studying 6 hours a day, 6-ish days a week, and that we can dedicate that to making these differences. And Daniel, we're going to spend some time and we're going to put together a nice video about the differences in shared parenting and parallel parenting and kind of talk about how we are doing things in our relationships with our exes with raising our kids. And, there's some good things about the stuff that we're both doing. I think there's some things we don't like, but, that's the nature of
We're gonna
having
have to
split
skip
families.
that whole. We've been on too long to go into the co-parenting thing. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and I think that
I'm glad Tom came on though.
I really
That
am
was
glad Tom
good.
came on. You know, uh, it's important to support those people. And we have people like Tom around the country. And like you said, he's got a opponent who is funded by big interests, right? Um, he's not a big proponent of schools. He would love to have open enrollment in schools in South Dakota, but there's no state funds towards private schools.
Right.
So the private school has to have all their funds. The state does not help any of that kind of stuff, and the
Well,
system's
until they.
against it.
Well, wait. So Wyoming for public charter school, they had to pass a law. We had to
Correct.
pass a bill. So
Right. Yep. And we got passed a bill in South Dakota, and the school's against it, right? But Tom's for it, and so they know who's against them, and they know where Tom stands, and so they're supporting people who are against Tom.
yeah,
And he's for families, right? So the DV groups are out there against him. The lawyers are out there, especially the family law attorneys, right? They're out there
yeah.
giving money to support his opponent, and he's self-funding this for the most part, and he needs some support. I'm giving Tom some of my money, and because I know the value of Tom and what he's done in our state, and I want to support people like him to keep growing. And my intention is that I keep growing this business and I keep doing more work to help fathers and kids connect and build relationships, that I can give more money to these people. I can do more of these things, and I have some really big ideas. Passing this bar exam has been a thorn in my side, and
Passing the bar.
it has sure allowed me to see a lot of my programs and how things show up in my life, and what I needed to do to overcome. Bless you. And I believe that I did everything that I could, and that this time, all the things I need to do differently, I did, and that I will make it. So,
Real
um,
quick, we'll know if Zach passed the bar on
April 20th
April 20th.
in Madison. I didn't read this thing.
We have to save
Want
it
me to
for
read
the
it?
next one. I'll read it.
Madison, we're going to say this, and we can read all this stuff later on, but I am sure parallel parenting is for high conflict parents that cannot get along. And a lot of the times, parents do not go to things around each other. Example: doctor's appointments with the children. Parallel parenting, you do not have much say what goes on the other house. The other house may have different rules, routines that the other parent doesn't do. Parallel parenting, a lot of times, you do less communication with one another. You still communicate, but not all the time. Parallel parenting, I think you kind of sum that up pretty good. That's not too bad. Um, that's the and there's some value to having that, right? Like, and not having all that control and all that need to be in control by letting it go and just allowing that person to be the parent on their time. It gives you some freedom and some peace. And so there's a lot of value to having that. And I think when Alicia and I put together that video that we're going to do about shared parenting and parallel parenting, and the differences and the values of the pluses and minuses of doing both, I think that we'll see that you know, a lot of areas where people can do those things. And I wish that judges did more parallel parenting. And I think when you make laws that make shared parenting a standard, there'll be a lot of families that choose parallel parenting because of them being forced into that situation, because they can't get along and they can't work together. And kids shouldn't lose a parent because one parent or both parents can't
I
work
heard you
together with
say
each
choose
other.
parallel parenting.
I think a judge should. I think a judge. People could choose parallel parenting, and if a
It,
judge is forced to have shared parenting,
I
parents can
think
choose
it's
to do
something
that
that
stuff.
it comes on with like out choice. There's no choice. It's just you realize in your mind like that is you choose it. It's just there's no other options. You know what I mean? When you go that route, there's there's not another option. It's only parallel parenting is the only option. You understand what I'm saying?
It is not the only option.
Well, you can't co-parent.
Well, if you
People that
can't co-parent,
what?
there's a lot of options. We'll discuss this.
The
We got
next
time.
one. I
We're
just
gonna we're gonna do a video, and
when
we're
you
gonna make
say
a video
choose,
all
oh,
about
they
this.
chose. You don't choose that. I think people that
Well,
parallel parent would much rather co-parent, but they can't for
I
one
don't
reason
think
or
that.
another. It's not an option.
Right. I don't know that everybody would choose that. I think a lot of people, if they had to share parenting, there's still a lot of people that would probably choose to parallel parent because they don't want to get along. They don't want to discuss things with the other parent. They don't want to be involved with that person. And I don't
Yeah,
think that's a bad thing. I think that that is probably a totally okay place. And, if the parents are parents and they're doing the right stuff for their kids and they're focused on being a present and connected and loving parent to their kids and helping them have experiences and grow in this world and uh, enjoy the experience of a childhood
yeah.
as growing into adulthood, that whatever it is to do that is perfect. So, um, I don't know. I mean, the family law lobby, it's hard to say. I'm sure there's people that are out there, but my experience with what I've heard from family law lobby in South Dakota and in Wyoming and in Texas, um, the family law lobby is not on the side of kids having both their parents. The
Oh,
family law lobby works for family law lawyers, and they are there to support lawyers in what is best for lawyers. And that is, unfortunately, often against what's best for kids. But you know what, Brian, we're going to have you on the show. So I would love to hear.
2 weeks, 3 weeks, one or the other. Zach's frozen again. What he was going to say was we would love to hear your story and your insight and everything that you're working on. And so just message us.
So next week we have on next week. Yes, next week we have Dr. Courtney on our show next week, and then the
Dr.
week after
Courtney.
that, uh, Dr. Courtney. Yeah, she's a divorce psychologist, helping people
Coach.
going through divorces. Coach,
She's a coach,
yes, she's a
co-parenting
coach,
coach,
and
divorce coach, and there's another thing. I
I'm
can't
glad
remember.
Alicia knows what's going on. So, um, uh, all right. Hey, you know what, Brian? I'm gonna post that up there. I love hearing that, and I would love to hear how you guys work together because that's so impactful, and maybe it could be something that could be leveraged to get more bills passed and people in. I think if you can work with the lawyers and have the lawyers on your side, it would be so much more impactful and more things would get passed. And how do we make this a team effort to do what's right for our kids? So I look forward to doing that with you and having that discussion. We're going to do it soon. But we have Dr. Courtney on, and then we have on, who do we have on in 2 weeks? You're muted.
Jeff, Courtney,
We'll probably get Jeff Millar on.
Morgan, maybe? No. We were going to ask Jeff
No,
Morgan. I don't know. There
we're
was
going to ask Jeff
somebody.
Morgan.
We have a list.
We have a list. It's not in front of my face, and but we're going to get to it. So
We have a total list. I can't remember.
huge list of people we want to get on and how we're setting it all
Yes.
up, and it's going to go really good.
Spreadsheet.
We are really focused on making this happen, and there are a lot of moving parts, and we just going to keep choosing in every day to making the show better, to making a bigger difference, and helping more families out. And so I really appreciate everybody that's come on here and watched this program. We have been learning and growing, and it's because of you guys being here that people want to keep coming up. People are interested in showing up for this program and being on this program because you guys actually you guys have been watching, and people are seeing that you guys are watching, and so we appreciate you guys. Keep coming on. If you guys can go on there, actually go to the YouTube channel and like the Noncustodial Live on YouTube. Go to Facebook, Noncustodial Live. Follow the page. I post a lot of good stuff on there. Probably a lot of the same stuff you get in other pages and stuff too, but it'll give you the information that we're going to have with our programs and our
We all
shows.
just
And
kind
we
of
would love to
flow
have
off
you guys
one or the
support.
other. We all just kind of flow off one or the other, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. So, but Brian, I'm looking
Kids
forward to it, man.
Deserve
I think it's going to be a
Dads
lot of fun.
basically has the best content. They do.
That's true.
KDD
That is
has the best
100%.
content.
I'm not going to say that we're growing the fastest of anybody out there, but I'm sure Ryan knows all
How
the
many
numbers of all
followers?
the things.
How many
We're
followers
at
are on
30.
Kids?
We crossed 34,000 followers today. We're at 34,300 today. We went up like 300 people. We're going up between 150 to 500 people a day right now, and so it's going really good. It's I think this content we're having on here, but we're also doing a lot of posts about the programs we're putting together and the opportunities we're making for shared parentings and helping dads and kids connect. And then everybody loves the drama. So, we get some reels about people being messed up and doing ignorant stuff together. And that
Everybody loves
brings
the
all the
drama.
people getting in fights and doing ignorant stuff on TikTok brings the boys to the yard, right? Is that how
Yeah.
the song goes?
No.
I would love to have it where our positive and motivational quotes and stuff and our ideas about how to show up and be better for your kids. We're
Well,
the
when
top
it is all
producers.
positive, we'll be all positive, I think. Right?
But I think the things that people really resonate with is the hurt and the
Struggle.
pain.
Yeah.
And so those things bring them in. But you know what? I did post one today that's like, I don't know, 400 likes and 100 shares today, and it was about this little boy who's cheering his dad on. He's like, "Go, daddy, go!" And the dad's doing his deadlift and lifts it up, and they cut it and
Oh,
edit
I
it and that
saw
kind of
that.
stuff a
Yeah.
little bit. But it was
Yeah.
super cute, and the dad goes, "There's you on the wall, Dad!" Right? And the dad turns and they pan the camera, and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the
Yeah.
'80s when he was all freaking jacked and huge. And it was just an
Yeah.
epic video. And
I saw that.
I think that's the kind of stuff. My son saw me studying hard his last couple of days, and I came to Cheyenne to be with my family so my family could help me out with my son. And I studied, and I had my computer out, and I had my books out, and I was studying and studying. And my son was coming on, "Dad, hang out, come on, do this stuff." And I was like, spend time with your cousins, spend time with your grandma. And we played a little bit. We played some cars, and we did a little hike together and stuff. We've done some things together during the week, but it wasn't just that. It was a lot of studying and doing those hard things. My son gave me the love before I went to the test and said, "Dad, you're going to pass this test today. And I love you so much." And when he gave me that love and he like hugged me, I was like, you know what? Everything that I just did, he sat there, he kept coming in the room. He kept seeing me study. He sat on my lap, watching me read his questions. I had read him ethics questions, right? And they are boring. So especially when you're a 7-year-old, I got to imagine a 7-year-old finds it extremely boring talking about should this lawyer be blamed or not for what he just did.
Anything that's not
And
Fortnite.
Yeah, super
Yeah.
boring. So, um, and so it was just doing those hard things, showing up, striving for greatness, and doing the best you can to make a difference in this world and be that example for your kids. That's how you become the hero, and that's how I'm gonna be the hero for my son in this story. And he said that he wants to be a lawyer like me, and I said, "Son, that our law practice could be called Martin and Martin." He goes,
Wow.
"We're so pumped. Like, what? We could have a Martin and Martin law practice? Holy smokes."
Heck yeah.
And I look forward to that, and I'm going to help him overcome whatever he has coming on in his life. And he's going to have hard things. He's going to do difficult things. And he is to know that he has the power to overcome. And by having watched his dad go through the pain and suffering and difficulties and come out the other side bigger, stronger, faster, and more committed and loving, he knows that he can do it too. And I don't know that I'd want to go through this experience that I've gone through again to be the dad I am today. God damn, I'm a better dad because of the shit that I've gone through. And I believe that everybody out there, all the dads out there right now, that you guys can be better dads and you guys can be your dreams by stepping up every day and choosing the hard things and overcoming those hard things. And you can all do it, man. I love you guys. I'm here for everybody out there. I can't wait to continue this journey to be the best dad I can be and also advocate for other dads and kids. And we're going to change the world, man. So, Alicia, I love you.
I love
You're one
you
of my
too.
best friends. um, and I'm excited about what we have next week. Dr. Courtney is going to be on the program, and then we'll
Just
announce.
watched myself roll my eyes like that on Facebook, and don't ever let me do that again. It was
Well, I can't
it
stop
was
you. They're your eyes. But
rather creepy, and now I get it. I just saw it.
so, um,
Dr.
yeah.
Courtney,
So great. Dr. Courtney next
probably
week.
vision statement stuff after that. Maybe.
I'd love to do some vision statements. I think they're so important and they've been impactful on my life. They have changed my whole entire life by visioning what I want to have and then making choices every day to move towards that. And
Yeah.
I think it's something we should definitely cover. And we got shared and parallel parenting and so much more. So stay tuned, man. The non-custodials are coming at you hard right now. So everybody better watch out. All right. That's enough. Good night.
Good night.